Previously on World History and Geography.
With the fall of the Roman Empire, the Church emerged as a powerful institution amid the weak central governments in feudal Europe. It shaped the lives of people from all social classes. As the Church expanded its political role, strong rulers began to question the Pope's authority.
And now, our feature presentation.
In crowning Charlemagne as the Roman Emperor in 800 CE, the Church sought to influence both spiritual and political matters. 300 years earlier, Pope Gelasius I suggested an analogy to explain the relationship of secular rulers and spiritual rulers. God had created two symbolic swords. One sword was religious, the other was political. The Pope held a spiritual sword. The Emperor wielded a political one. Gelasius thought that the Pope should bow to the Emperor in political matters. In turn, the Emperor should bow to the Pope in religious matters. If each ruler kept the authority in his own realm, the two leaders could share power in harmony. In reality, though, they disagreed on the boundaries of either realm. Throughout the Middle Ages, the Church and various European rulers competed for power. Like the system of feudalism, the Church had its own organization. Power was based on status. Church structure consisted of different ranks of clergy, or religious officials. The Pope in Rome headed up the Church. Below were the bishops, who supervised the priests and were in charge of the churches in the parish or region. The lowest-ranking members of the clergy, the priests, ran the churches and served their parishioners. Parishioners are the members of the individual church. For most people, local priests served as the main contact with the church. Bishops also settled disputes over church teachings and practices. A special group of bishops, known as cardinals, are in charge of choosing the pope. All clergy, including bishops and priests, fall under the Pope's authority. Feudalism and the manor system created divisions among people, but the shared beliefs and the teachings of the Church bonded people together. The Church was a stable force during an era of constant warfare and political turmoil. It provided Christians with a sense of security and a belonging to a religious community. In the Middle Ages, religion occupied center stage. Medieval Christians' everyday lives were harsh. Still, they could all follow the same path to salvation, everlasting life in heaven. Priests and other clergy administered the sacraments, or important religious ceremonies. These rites paved the way for achieving salvation. For example, through the sacrament of baptism, people became part of the Christian community. At the local level, the village church was a unifying force in the lives of most people. It served as a religious and social center. People worshiped together at the church. They also met with other villagers. Religious holidays, especially Christmas and Easter, were occasions for festive celebrations. The Church also created a system of justice to guide people's conduct. All medieval Christians, kings and peasants alike, were subject to canon law, or church law, in matters such as marriage and religious practices. The Church also established courts to try people accused of violating canon law. Two of the harshest punishments that offenders faced were excommunication and interdict. To wield power over political rulers, popes used the threat of excommunication, or banishment from the church where they could not take part in the sacraments or other religious activities. This means the king would be denied salvation. Excommunication also freed all of the king's vassals from their duties to him. If an excommunicated king continued to disobey the pope in turn could use an even more frightening weapon, the interdict. Under an interdict, many sacraments and religious services could not be performed in the king's lands. As Christians, the king's subjects believed that without these sacraments, they might be denied entrance into heaven and doomed to hell. In the 11th century, excommunication and the possible threat of an interdict would force a German emperor to submit to the Pope's commands. In the Middle Ages, the Church was not happy that kings tried to control the clergy. It especially resented the practice of lay investiture, a ceremony in which kings and nobles appointed church officials. Whoever controlled lay investiture held the real power in naming bishops, who were very influential clergy that kings sought to control. Oh, you can see the bishop's crozier, or shepherd's crook. The bishop carries a shepherd's crook because they are known as the shepherd of the flock of God. Anyway, church reformers felt that the kings should not have that power. In 1075 CE, Pope Gregory VII banned lay investiture. The furious young German emperor, Henry IV, immediately called a meeting of the German bishops he had appointed. With their approval, the emperor ordered Pope Gregory to step down from the papacy. Gregory then excommunicated Henry. Afterward, German bishops and princes sided with the pope. To save his throne, Henry tried to win the pope's forgiveness. In January 1077 CE, Henry crossed the snowy Alps to the Italian town of Canossa. He approached the castle where Gregory was a guest and begged for his salvation. The Pope was obligated to forgive any sinner who begged so humbly. Still, Gregory kept Henry waiting in the snow for 3 days before ending his excommunication. Their meeting actually solved nothing. The Pope had humiliated Henry, the proudest ruler in Europe, yet Henry felt triumphant and rushed home to punish rebellious nobles. The successors of Gregory and Henry continued to fight over lay investiture until 1122. That year, representatives of the Church and the Emperor met in the German city of Worms. Whoops, I forgot to say it in German, where a W is pronounced like a V, so it's the city of Worms. They reached a compromise known as the Concordat of Worms. By its terms, the Church alone could appoint a bishop, but the Emperor could veto the appointment. Concordat means an agreement or treaty, usually between the Church and a secular government. By 1152 CE, the 7 princes who elected the German king realized that Germany needed a strong ruler to keep the peace. They chose Frederick I, nicknamed Barbarossa for his red beard. Frederick I was the first ruler to call his lands the Holy Roman Empire, which would exist until the 19th century. So it's the city of Worms.